police reform, especially looking at some of the issues surrounding their salaries. But then it became even more imperative with the conversation from yesterday with the report from the Premium Times that over 80,000 ghost officers were uncovered in the Nigeria police. And this, of course, about reforming the police has been a conversation ongoing ever since the EndSARS hashtag really took off here in Nigeria. So we'll be having a conversation on reforming the Nigerian police, looking at a number of these issues as well. And the person we'll be speaking to is Segun Awosanya. He is, some would say, I guess I would say the convener of the EndSARS movement or campaign, has been very active on it and continue to have conversations about it on social media, but has also looked at the idea of reforming the Nigerian police, not simply ending a division, which we know as the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, but also reforming the overall activities of the Nigeria police. So that's the conversation we'll be having. We're getting in touch with Segun now and he'll join us. And also you can join us via our social media handles at Nigeria Info FM, at Tolu and AB, at Banjo1, as well as you can tweet at us. Oh, those are the ways you tweet us. Or you can send us WhatsApp messages 08095975805. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
All right, good morning. Segun, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so Lagos on the phone lines, we have Segun Awosanya with us, and we'll start the conversation on reforming the Nigeria police. But Segun, let's start off very quickly. Part of this conversation, you've been part of this conversation in recent time because of the EndSARS hashtag that has gone quite viral and has been featured around the world. But you, in the early days, you made points. You made it a point of notice to talk about the necessary police reforms that would be there, and then the idea of ending the Special Anti-Robbery Squad part of the police. So let's first look at that at a breakdown. There have been conversations as to either it's to end the SARS or to reform them, but overall, looking at a generic view of the reforming the Nigerian police, does the Special Anti-Robbery Squad need to go?
You definitely need to go. You cannot reform cancer. You know, when there's a cancerous node within the system, you cut it, because there's no remedy, you know, to that. Because you can also see that if there is any hope along that thinking or that thought pattern, there will have been a bit of remorse on the side of the police right now. But despite the fact that they moved around furniture for a bit, nothing has actually happened. They are still extorting Nigerians. They're still killing Nigerians. They're still indiscriminate. Arrests and raids with ransom put on Nigerians and all the stuff. As of this morning, somebody was robbed at gunpoint by a policeman of 200,000 naira. You know, so and there was no other option. They were traveling, and they could have just killed them because the guy was already inebriated. He was drunk, and he was promising them that he was going to kill them and waste them unless they pay him. And he followed them down to an ATM or something to get paid. So things like that are happening. Police IG is aware that our government are listening, and nothing is being done. Why? Because of 2019. So when you begin to look at it, there's no reform whatsoever. The SARS, you know, they have outlived their welcome, their usefulness. They need to go. There are other alternatives. There was something we had on ground when armed robbery was threatening our unity as a country, and it wasn't SARS that we used to unseat or arrest or stop the Aninis and the EMOs of those days. You know. So there are other things. We will reinvent ourselves. There are proper reforms that need to be put in place for the police entirely, because we cannot disband the police as of now, because we have a lot of instability and we will still need law and order to be maintained. And for that to happen, we need to put some checks and balances. For the police as a whole, it's a leadership problem, okay? And it's a constitutional problem. It's something that the legislature can put their heads together and reform the anachronistic police act and ensure that they make it functional by putting the right heads in the right places. So once that one is done, the structure of the police itself can be tweaked. for performance, and then we can do vetting. Because right now, I must tell you, I must let Nigerians know that despite the fact that it was because of this discussion that you are hearing things as bizarre as 80,000 people, well, ghost work has been discovered in the police itself. And this is what we are borrowing money to pay for as a country. 80,000 ghost workers in the police force. Now, when you remove the 80,000, the few ones that you are seeing, they are not who they claim they are. Most of them are bearing other people's names. They came into the police system using other people's qualifications and results. You understand? So you can't really hold these people. When you now say, okay, this person has committed a crime and we're charging them to court and what have you, the credentials, the actual credentials is not the credentials that is existing. And if the police force has such problems within the system, don't you think we really have a problem? Is there a civilization without law and order? So these are questions we need to begin to ask ourselves. Because if a policeman robs you, who do you call? Actually, the president?
And how many people have access? Now, let me take you back a little bit now. For many people, they believe that the transition from military rule in 1999 to civilian government to democracy would have been our true first real effort or opportunity to undertake a reform of the Nigeria police force. And it was then the police affairs minister who made a series of announcements in 2000 signaling the government's plans to reorganize the force. He's quoted as saying, "The image of the new police this administration wants to build is that of a courteous, polite, well-disciplined and well-behaved police officer and men who are truly friends of the people." Now, initial measures undertaken to realize this were a massive recruitment drive to increase the force strength, promotion of senior police officers and members of the rank and file, provision of training and development facilities, and improvements in the salary and welfare package. Now, in 2000, they also announced that they had a 5-year development plan for the police force, and with significant support from international organizations, the U.S. government, UN, British government, they started this. They drew up a detailed strategic plan to guide the implementation. This is 2018. From whatever might have been lofty heights of what we hoped our police force would look like to what our police force actually looks like now. Segun, what do you think went wrong?
Policies or making or drafting of policies have never been a problem of Nigeria. We have wonderful script writers and policy makers and what have you. But the implementation, the devil is in the detail. You know, when the new administration came into power, the first thing they said was, yes, we're going to work and make sure that the police work as well. So they moved the police structure itself, the Nigerian police, under the Ministry of Interior. And by doing this, by a political statement, by a statement that a politically correct statement of, yes, now we'll begin to see change. But it was just done by word of mouth, just like the pronouncement that you just read. It was very so nice sounding, but structurally, constitutionally, legally, or legislative-wise, nothing was done. There was, as we speak right now, nobody checks the police itself. The IG is a god unto himself. Okay? He is not under anybody whatsoever. If the president is not around, he is president as far as he is concerned. Because he reports directly to the president, and you know the kind of how long it takes for that, for that arrangement to even be made. So unless he's being summoned, he can't do anything he likes. The minister under whom the IG serves, he does not report to him. He does not listen to him. The minister doesn't have the power to either promote, punish, or control anything under the police system. And that's how it has been. So the police structure itself, it has been floating. They don't at the Federal Executive Council, they have no representation. Who approves the police budget? These are questions. So when you begin to hear that the police IG buys cars or begins to purchase cars for people, you need to ask where this money is coming from. Is it from bloodletting of innocent Nigerians? So this is a deep structural problem. When you have a country, that claims to be a civilization, where police are the robbers, then there's a problem. Because the oxymoron of police brutality and the morbid impunity as it persists in Nigeria, therefore begins to instruct, sane minds that once a police officer operates without limit, enough to become brutal, prejudiced, or judgmental, he or she has ceased to be a police officer, maintaining law and order. So we, the people, will be forced to conclude that we are not dealing with a police, but a federally authorized gang. And that is exactly what we have right now. We have a gang, a criminal syndicate, an organized crime syndicate. That's exactly what we have, not a police force. So when they're telling you they are fighting this, they are fighting causes, they are fighting that, the police coming on air to announce that their duty right now, despite the chaos we have socio-politically, is running after Yahoo boys. Okay? Mm-hmm. That is their duty, and that's what they have all the manpower and everything. That's why they have relocated everything to be carrying people based on their own prejudice, that you look like somebody else, you look like this, you look like that, and because of that, I have the right, to shut you down or to arrest you, and they ask your parent to go and look for money. That's exactly. And where is this money going? Follow the paper trail. There are so many revelations to be found if you know why this NSAS thing started. It's not just about the petty things or the little things that we see on the street. There are evil things happening in this country, and our structures understand this, and they are doing nothing about it. It should give us concern.
All right.
It really give us concern.
Okay, Mr. Segun, how far do you think we have gone in this push, or in this agitation to ensure that we witness in our time a reformation, a complete, total reformation of the Nigerian police? I wouldn't know. Do you think the appropriate bodies championing this fight are getting the attention of government to do the needful?
Yes, I would say we have gone far, because before now, people don't talk about their experience with police. Said, if police robs you, who do you call? Who is going to investigate the matter? It's not the same structure. They will support their own. So, but right now, people have the confidence to relay their experiences, and then to begin to come out to say, look, I am willing to testify. I am willing for you to give me representation, because what the agitation is doing right now, we have succeeded in creating awareness, and not awareness. We have succeeded in getting the attention of the National Assembly, that is the upper and the lower chambers. The Speaker of the House and the Senate President are involved. They set up a committee to look into this matter. It has only been eclipsed by the imbroglio of the Fulani militia and the headsmen problem, but it is still, the investigation is still going on. There will be public hearing very soon. And also, we are not staying there. We are also carrying out a civic suit. There is a lawsuit, a class action suit against the police system structure itself, where we are bringing in all the victims, trying and representing them for free. The Gavel is handling that, and a couple of lawyers who have decided to work pro bono. And then we are also getting financial assistance from different well-meaning Nigerians to be able to, gather papers, information, file, and also take care, support these victims to an extent, because most of them are living far away. Some of them have lost loved ones, Some of them have lost, people who are yet to be buried because of police investigation that is going nowhere. You understand? We have the case of Kudirat, we have the case of, there are several cases of people killed by policemen who feel that they are law unto themselves. So we actually gone far with this. People are coming forward. It's difficult. It's a very hard thing to pull. Even when we wrote the petition and we got people to sign, to get Nigerians to get 5,000 Nigerians to sign a petition, it will cost blood. Let's talk of having 30,000 people signing a petition. So our lawmakers know what that means, and they know how important this is. We are not going to have a transition in our government unless this is addressed. And whosoever that is coming to take the helms will need to tell Nigerians what they hope to do about this menace.
Okay. Now another very interesting thing is that the agitation, is there a roadmap, a written document, a format for this reformation? Are you making recommendations? Do you have a roadmap? I mean, we have an existing force that comprises of all the people we have been describing now, and at the same time we're looking for a reformation. Are we saying, okay, they need to be retrained, or we need to get people out of the Nigerian police, or we need to get rid of the existing force and bring a new one? I mean, do you think there's a roadmap to ensuring this eventually sees the light of the day?
There is a roadmap. Okay. Because the police reforms, there are two things. NSAS reform, police NG. You will never see the agitation talk about ending SARS alone without talking about reformation. It's a yin-yang situation. Okay? So for every end SARS, you see a reform police NG at the end. We understand the problem to the point that, police officers within the system, I mean the sane ones now, the good heads now, they understand that these things cannot even be fought from within because they cannot make complaints. It's a regimented environment. They cannot complain. They cannot go on strike. It is the people that we say we are not getting, because it is a service. That's why it's under the Ministry of Interior. Where we have the Nigerian Immigration Service, this service, that service, fire service, it's a service. It is not a form. Okay? It is a service. And for a service, if you have a product out there that has over 500,000 negative, experiences by the people that you are meant to serve, you will recall that product. So it is not about reformation of the bad cancer of the SARS, but it is about the reformation of the force to look at the things that have gone dormant in the system, to look at the things that need to work that are not working, to look at what is the bane, of the function of the well-being of that organization. And it is a legislative, process, as it were. The noise that was made and the complaint that was made was an awareness drive to make people understand what is at stake and to give them the confidence to know that people are fighting for them, that they can now come out and relay their experiences, because without their relaying their experiences, there's really no basis to change anything. So when they are coming with what they have experienced and all, and we have all these things filed as tabled before the National Assembly, they will now look into the appropriate laws and see how they can change what is on ground, because the Police Act is as old as most of the people you see on Twitter and social media, most of the people that you see that are being victims of this system. It's older than most of them. The police itself is one of the oldest, it's older than Nigeria, 88-year-old institution that has now been balkanized to the point that it is now ethnic brigades and religious bigots that are now proliferating the assembly. Because as you well now, the recruitment process, if you look at it, it is about who you know. It is not about meritocracy. So because of this, we are trying as much as possible to guide, because in other countries, in same crimes, we have what they call the lobbyists. The lobbyists understand the judicial process, the legislative process, and they know how to guide lawmakers on what laws to make and guide them through and even sponsor this bill. But we don't have lobbyists in Nigeria. We expect our lawmakers to handle lobbying themselves, which is one of the reasons why you see their jumbo pay and you scream. In other countries, they might not pay as much as they are paying our legislators, but they have other systems and structures in place that makes that does what they ought to be doing themselves. But in Nigeria, those things don't exist. So a lawmaker will have to do everything by himself, which begins to justify, those humongous sums that you hear about. So our own bit is to try as much as possible to stand in that gap, because this is also an outcome that came based on institutional gaps. Once there are institutional gaps, the police was meant to, protect lives and property and maintain law and order. They are no longer doing that. People are not getting service, and at the end of the day, they have become what they were set up to fight. And this is because the structure that is the legislative structure that it is no longer functioning, or it is anachronistic. It doesn't work in this century anymore. And because politics have taken tribalism, ethnicity, or what have you, it has already taken preeminence. So politics is more important than the life, putting a premium on the lives of Nigerians. And that is why a body needs to rise, a body of Nigerians, 1 million Nigerians need to rise and put their foot down and say, look, we are doing this, and no matter what it takes, we are not going to back off. Nigerians are very short attention span. They don't like dwelling on things for too long. After a while, when they make noise, they shout, it dies down. But this is not dying down. It is not going anywhere.
Okay,
every day we are, yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish your thought.
So every day we are gathering cases. We are preparing for our class action suit. And people are coming forward. And then we're also carrying along our lawmakers so that they know what is happening, that this is not going away.
Now, let me ask you, there has been a Nigeria Police Force Reform Trust Fund bill languishing at the National Assembly since about 2008. The last time, it seems, the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, really made some comments on it was mid-2017. Now, when he was speaking about it, he said that the challenges facing the force were underfunding, manpower shortfall, and training of personnel, also adding that the Nigeria Police needed to recruit at least 31,000 Nigerians every year over the period of 5 years in order to bridge the manpower gap and end up at the numbers of officers per citizens or per Nigerians that the United Nations references. Now, you made mention of jumbo salary of lawmakers, and I want us to quickly look at the salary of police officers, because for some people, what you put in is literally what you get out. And the police ranks go all the way from they go from recruits all the way up to the Inspector General. Now, according to what we have available records and research, the Inspector General of Police, of course, is the highest paid Nigerian police officer, who is meant to take home an annual salary of over 8.5 million. Now, a recruit into the Nigeria Police Force gets 9,000 naira per month, an annual income of about 108,000 naira. Then when you look at constables, you have them coming in at about 519,000 per month, going home with about 3 million. I've jumped a few. Let me get back to a few of the lowercase ones. So you just see that, okay, so the recruit is there. Then you have second police constable grade level 3, 43,000 naira a month, about an annual salary of 519,000. Police constable grade level 10, 51,000 naira a month, just taking home an annual salary of about 613,000. Police corporal on grade 4, step 1, 44,000 naira a month, going home with about 536. So he has said that underfunding is part of the problem. But when you look at some of the money, the majority, the bulk of the rank and file of the Nigeria Police take home, would we not have expected to find ourselves in some of the situations we do find ourselves in, where men of the Nigerian police and women are extorting citizens, are finding themselves engaged in robbery, sometimes even allegations of rape, assault on the job? Looking at the pay, can we trace some of the issues of pay to some of the issues of performance that we see?
Yes, we can. Actually, it's one of those things. Like I said, the police, the problem we have with the police structure is subject to a multivariate analysis. You know, it is just not one factor, but there are several other factors that are responsible for what we have now. But again, it does not justify it. If you are working on a job and the pay is not good, you have an option to resign. You have an option to go and do something better. It doesn't have to be the police system. So you cannot justify your low pay. So imagine a doctor killing people just because his pay is small. If everybody decides to do that, are we going to have a country? And again, if you're coming into a service, you're coming to serve your country, it is not just about the pay, which is one of the reasons why we need to reform the entire system. The way we bring in people to the system should not just be resting on quota system. I know him, he's my uncle, he's my cousin. I have somebody who's doing nothing. Let him go there. Let him just get him, fit him into the system anyhow. And that is what is killing the system. Everybody is guilty. The politicians, the people in power, the legislature, the judiciary, every single political head around Nigeria or leader in Nigeria is responsible. They all have a list that is sent into this institution. They all have a list, that is sent into Nigeria immigration. They all have a list that is sent into the bosses of fire service. And this has to stop. If we begin to focus on meritocracy, we begin to do proper interview and screening to find the right people, right minds, people who value Nigeria enough to serve it, and then get rewarded for it. No job can reward you enough. There's nobody who is on a job who can boast and say, I am going to be retired and my boss tomorrow. It is not done. I've never seen any millionaire who got rich by working for somebody. So if you are going to serve your country, it's a sacrifice. That's why it is called a service. So we cannot justify their actions based on their low pay, because low pay is one. Also, they are not funding the system properly. They don't have papers in the police station. They don't have computers there. They don't have power there. They they have to buy their own fuel. I still intervene in a situation, in a case along Kaduna Abuja Road. There are some patrol officers there. Normally, we see there, and there have been crimes on that road. So we went down to investigate what is happening there. Why are we recording crimes there? Are there no patrols, vans, and policemen there? Only to find out that their structure there, what they do is they have their salary, tell them some stories that the money has been lost, you know, and they give them a car that tires are worn, and they expect them to patrol and to do great work. And when those people complain, they will threaten them that they're going to charge them for mutiny or for one thing or the other, and transfer them to a place where they cannot lay their heads or cannot have water or food or something like that. When you treat people like that, there's always a Janus effect. These people cannot do anything but rob people because of the way the system treats them.
So
and from what we are gathering, some people have mandates to bring in money.
Exactly.
You understand? And when you have a system working like that, you know we are in trouble as a nation. Law and order cannot. The only way the citizen can survive this is by arming themselves.
Yeah, some of the things.
Instruction, there is chaos all over the place.
Yeah, some of the things we also hear is that it's a boss, maybe like the TPO in a station, comes up every day and he already has a target and he's telling his boss, you know what, this money need to come in today. I don't know how you are going to get it, but this should come in today. I mean, do we have issues like that?
We have. Look, if somebody called somebody, telling him, wherever you are, run back home right now. The guy said, why? He said, because our DPO just gave an order that is, the daughter is going to wed by the weekend, and we need to bring in money. So we are going on a raid right now to pack anybody we see.
Mine.
Do you understand what I'm saying? When I heard that, my heart broke. My heart broke. I was in Yaba or something, Yaba or so. I saw a van, ran into the street and they started packing people. These boys were it was a holiday. People were coming out from lesson and all. These are young youth people preparing for jam or something. They took all of them and took them away. And then none of them are going to be released unless their parents come around and pay some money. What have we become? And these reports are all there. We are reporting, the files are there. Our lawmakers know this. Our Senate know this. Our executive know this. If our president can joke about somebody using bulldozer to run down his enemies, so you want to tell us that he doesn't know that his police force are killing people? So these are the problems that we have. If your law and order is already compromised and the police is already balkanized, then what exactly are you running? This is not a country.
Now, Segun, because we'll be wrapping up with you soon, but let's do this. Now, there are long-term reforms that you and many people would like to see in place, and one of the reforms long-term is ending the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. But let's talk about short-term, because many times, before we can get to the long-term goal, we need to find those mid-level, short-span goals. So let's look at least 3 short-term goals or 3 short-term reforms that you think could be immediately put into place to start changing the Nigerian police. And then you can also share with us maybe 3 long-term goals in which we can achieve the aim of truly turning the Nigerian police force into a force that serves the people. So what are some short-term goals?
First of all, the short-term goal is to end fast. Because by the time you take the wings out of their sails, that they are no longer legal, that the government is no longer supporting their impunity, then we begin to have some sanity. Because if you hear any story of anybody asking you to open your phones, he's already a criminal and you need to defend yourself against such a person. You understand? So those are short-term goals. We need to first shut down fast. The long-term goal itself is the end game of this agitation is to reform the criminal justice system. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're talking about the police. You need to hear what is going on with the judiciary.
Yeah.
They are also a problem. Police is mild, very, very mild compared to what is happening within the judiciary, And then also we go to the prison. What is happening in the prison. So these are things Nigerians don't really understand, and we're taking it in piecemeal to get them to understand. So the short-term goal is to shut down fast and to begin to probe into this police structure and then correct some errors. And the errors first and foremost as it has started, Nigeria, the authorities will not tell you that they are going to start or make an announcement that they are going to end SARS or they are going to reform police. They will be doing stuff internally. I can commend the executive. The first thing they have done since this agitation started was, apart from the legislature coming together to say, okay, we are creating committees to look into the human rights abuses, we are looking into this stuff and all, and then they have changed a few things within the structure. That they have now added the Minister of Interior as part of the police commission. He was never a member of the police commission. So you can imagine how bizarre it is. They are making decision on a department under you, and you are not even involved in the decision making. So if there's a problem, you will be the first to blame. So they have done that. The president have done that. You know, they've added into that committee, and very soon, probably, they will begin the Police Act reform itself. So that is another thing. That is an ongoing thing. That's the long-term goal. So also, we're looking at a situation where any policeman you pick on the street can represent Nigeria anywhere in the world. And for that to happen, every arm-bearing policeman needs to understand what is at stake, the responsibility on their shoulder. You are not meant to be feared, but meant to be respected because of your professionalism, not because of your ability to act without limit. So this will take a serious orientation and social engineering within the system. And those who are going to be taken off the street are also going to be rehabilitated. They are going to be rechanneled. They are going to be reabsorbed into the system in an area where they don't need to see citizens, as it were. There are things going on in certain parts of the country that we need a high-handed arm of the force or the system. You can take them there. They will be useful there, where they won't need to abuse the rights of innocent citizens. So these things have been structured, but because it's a security matter, we cannot table a roadmap and say this is precisely what we're doing here and here. There are so many things I won't talk about on air.
Yes. That
is happening. So, but I can assure Nigerians that our lawmakers are taking this seriously. The government, they are actually listening. Despite the fact that they've not addressed this. If they've had better word or better means of addressing this, they would have. But they don't have it. And they know that 2019 is coming. They are politicians. They need to hold their sway. And then they also need to use these people when the time comes. So because of that, everybody is thinking, what can I do that will not harm my political career? So that's one of the things that is making people drag their feet. So it's also part of the problem. So we need to be very patient. Reforms anywhere in the world takes time. But we're looking at short-term things that we can do right now to save the lives of Nigerians, to also put premium on the lives of Nigerians. And it begins with shutting down this cancerous node within the system.
Let me quickly ask you, I apologize, I forgot to bring it up, but do you think part of the reforms is also getting state policing to become part of our police structure?
No, state policing is a political statement. It will not function. Use the Yaya Bello and use the Yaya Bello as an example. Give him state police, and then you have cure. There's not going to be law and order in that state for any reason.
Interesting.
You understand? The law, the Land Use Act that actually granted police, that granted the governors, that vested power into their hands, already becoming a problem right now. You see the politicians using this to victimize their political opponents, to seize land for overriding public interest and to ascribe to take that land for themselves much later. You understand? So we cannot do that. We are looking at, if we're going to have, because again, the process of universal institutional reform is to actually, or to eventually reform Nigeria in terms of restructuring Nigeria. And when we talk about restructuring Nigeria, we're talking about ensuring Nigeria operates regionally. We can vest power to the region so that nobody can become a god overnight. Because when you look at the region, there's no how within a region that a single political party will have power all over. So there will always be means, and there will be a regional council which you will submit to. So it will be very difficult for anybody to make gods of themselves, and then concentration of power at the center will be defeated. So we will not have a situation whereby because the president comes from my tribe, I can do anything I want and kill anyone I want. I won't be arrested. I'll be a ghost. You understand? So these are structural things that we need to begin to look at in the long run. So right now, in the short run, as you said, state policing is not there. We are talking about regional policing, if at all, and it cannot function in vacuum. We need to restructure Nigeria before we start talking about regional policing and what have you.
Okay.
For now, we need to begin to look at the problematic nodes that can save lives of Nigeria before we can now start deliberating on their health care, their pay package, their training, and what have you.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Segun Awosanya, for joining us this morning. We do appreciate your time, and of course, all of the things you've actually been doing in terms of this campaign. We do appreciate your giving us a little bit of your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All right, Lagos, we're going to go for a quick timeout. We'll be right back, and this conversation will continue. But if you do want to reach out to Segun on Twitter, you can do so. On Twitter, he is at Segedlink. That is SEGALINK. Many people are continuing to tweet using the NSARS hashtag, but as he said, it's beyond just ending that unit of the Nigeria police and looking at other areas in which we need to work to probe the police structure, correct current errors right now, reform the criminal justice system, reform the police act itself, and getting the police to undergo like a social cultural shift in their thinking, understanding the responsibility that they have on their shoulders. This conversation will continue right after this. Do stay with us. My name is Tolu Balogun. I currently host Morning Crossfire. I'm here to tell you that you have to get your PVC. Your permanent voter's card is your power, and in your hand you hold the power to make any necessary change that you want in Nigeria. Please participate, because elections are not the end of democracy and governance. The highest office in the land is the office of the citizen. You and I are citizens of Nigeria. Get your PVC. Your PVC, your voice.
We connect you to the world. We connect you to the vicinity. We are Nigeria Info.
Listen to me, I said this is a real situation and the government has to do something about it.
What are you trying to insinuate? All these people looting Nigeria's money? You think
this is Nigeria Info, in the heart of Nigeria. 99.3, we are Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. 99.3.
We know what's happening everywhere and every time. Giving you the latest happenings in Nigeria and around the world. The Breakfast News Digest, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
And as we said, the conversation is continuing. Okay, hold on. And you're right back on the nation's #1 talk news and sports station. This is 99.3 Nigeria Info. Zil Akarewe joins us, but it's just going to be a very brief time. You can meet him later on, I think at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour on the Money, Business and Economy show with Tunji Andrews. But want to go over some of the points that Segun raised in terms of reforming the Nigeria police. Now, he is most notably known for the NSARS campaign, but he's expanded that campaign. Even from the very beginning, I was following. He expanded that campaign to be about reforming the overall police structure and situation. And he said in the short term, the goals are to end SARS, probe the police structure, and correct whatever errors are correctable and are running right now. That long-term goals are reforming the criminal justice system, making mention of what happens in the prisons as well as what goes on in the courts, reforming the Police Act itself, as well as looking more at regional police rather than an idea of a state police, and then getting the police to understand the responsibility on their shoulders. Many people are talking about the police this morning because of the report that came out that over 80,000 officers are apparently ghost workers, and the money is being spent on financing the lifestyles of these ghost workers in the spirit realm.
I know those people are not human beings. They are ghosts.
They'll come and look for you. Can't protect you. They'll come and look for you. Over 80,000 of them ghost workers, and then also looking at the salary structure we talked about. Now, meanwhile, as Segun said, the type of salary they're taking home is no excuse, but it is also part of a conversation that needs to be had about reforming the police structure. So how do we reform Nigeria's police service, or the police force as they're now called?
Is it also true, Zio, before you continue? Because before you start, some people are thinking that maybe these ghosts really exist in the police force. As in, they are ghosts and they do the things they do. You see them on the expressway, and I mean, don't we believe in ghosts any longer in Africa?
Well, this is the issue around the police in Nigeria. Is we need to dial it back quite a bit. We need to ask some very simple questions. Why do the police carry AK-47s and not pistols? Why do they carry weapons of mass destruction to protect innocent individuals? The police force was set up during the colonial rule. They were not set up to protect the people. They were set up to protect the government, the colonialists at the time. That mentality has not been expunged from the force. And so when you interact with them, when you see their training, when you interact with them, when you see their behavior, when you hear people's experiences with them, you can easily tell they are not here to protect you. They are not trained to protect you. Then
they're for government and anti-people.
So of the 300 and something thousand police officers we have, 80,000 are spirits, 150,000 are attached to VIPs. Half your police force is.
So Nigeria is not like we are under-policed. We are not. No, policed. That's a different. We are just not policed.
We're just not policed. So there's an issue we're calling the army, and you keep asking yourself, army made arrest, and army cannot arrest. It's not it's not legally possible. So you find that the police was not set up to do what we think they were set up to do. So in that regard,
what we're expecting.
So there's an issue between expectation and reality.
But doesn't that all come back to reforming to looking at the Police Act in and of itself? And the IG last year talked about non-passage of the police reform bill, but then it was also about the police reform trust fund, and people are wary of any kind of trust fund you're setting up.
This is more than what a bill says. This is a mentality, psychology, training. It's in the DNA. When people want to join police, are they joining police because they love law and order, because they love to preserve and protect, as the US would say? No, that's not why they are joining. So the mentality, the psyche needs to be addressed, and that's where I would agree with Segun, that the reform is not about changing the structure. It's about almost like uprooting and replanting. Because the whole psyche, then you have to, there's no way, like he said, it's not a justification, but it can't be ignored. You give a man 30,000-40,000 a month, he has a family, he has children, he has needs, and then you give him a gun with ammunition.
It's almost like saying, I've done what I can do, go and figure the rest out for yourself.
For yourself. You know, it's like getting yams and giving goats to secure them, as we had in the recent past. It does not work.
Like
Is
somebody
that an
once,
excuse? No, but you cannot. You cannot.
like somebody once said that you cannot be a police officer and be broke. You must be a very stupid one to be broke.
That says a lot about
I'm
us.
telling you, yes.
So these are there are many. The whole thing needs to be looked at from uprooted, replanted, reorganized. The whole. Otherwise, we're just going down a very bad spiral.
I'm interested in short-term solutions, because reforming anything, especially something that is 88 years old, something that has worked for some people with a status quo like this, will take a long time. But what are the short-term solutions to, number one, getting the police to become more of a service-oriented agency, MDA, whatever you want to call them, under the structure of the federal government? Then secondly, this idea that the police is your friend, it's something the hierarchy tells you, something you hear from the IG, it's something you hear from the police, from the state commanders, it's something you hear from the state PPROs, but it's not something you basically feel. It's not what the majority of Nigerians feel when they encounter the rank and file on the streets and on the streets of Nigeria. How do we also change that? And there's a narrative to this.
There are not many. Tolu, a woman goes to the hospital and the doctor tells her she has a lump in her breast. Come back next week, we'll put you under the knife for an hour, we'll sort it out. Woman says no. A Nigerian woman, she goes to church to pray. 6 months later, woman goes back. Doctor says, Madam, we have to take out the entire breast. Woman says no. She goes away. Comes back a year later. Doctor says we have to take out both breasts, one lung, and half your liver. And woman says, what's the short-term solution?
So you think we've passed the time for short-term solutions?
Yes. Yes.
That's what we're saying.
After 88 years of rot, there's no short-term solution.
It has to be holistic. I mean, nothing like, you know.
I don't know what it is. Let me put it that way. Somebody out there may know. But in terms of retraining an entire police force of 300,000 people to get the right psyche and mindset can never be a short-term thing. Short-term solution is retrain them, reorganize them, restructure them.
I think one of the short-term solutions that I've been talking about is that disarm the Nigerian police first of all.
Disarm.
Yes.
Completely.
You
want to make them
disarm.
Like the UK.
You see,
how long do you think that would take? Hang on. How long do you think that would take?
Maximum probably a month. If for any reason we have an account of the number of harms we have given out.
But you know we don't. In the whole country, we have one ballistics testing center. One. That's why someone gets shot. You don't know who did the shooting. That's why you hear police ammunition and guns were recovered from armed robbery. You don't know whose own it was. So you tell them, bring back your arms, and they don't. What do?
They go home.
How do you know they didn't bring? They said, I don't have one. I'm willing to
probably rented it out for an operation.
Do you understand? So the short-term solutions will take a long time to execute. But like someone said, the best time to have done this was yesterday. The next best time is today. Whatever the case, let's just start doing it. It needs to be done. It's not going to end well for anybody. It needs to be done.
All right, we'll see if we have a few WhatsApp messages, but I think we can quickly just push in one or two calls. 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, and 01-277-2993, as well as 277-3993. Now, you can join the conversation, but you have to make it as quick as possible, and it's not the complaints. We want solutions. How do we reform the Nigeria police? Hello, good morning to you. Hello?
Hello,
Good morning.
All right, my name is Chuk. I'm calling from Ibeju.
All right, go ahead quickly, please.
So I think you are talking about solution and not complaining.
Yes.
Well, I think on my own point of view, I think what we need to do is we have to start from the beginning. Get a new serious IG that will work on this boy or his men. If we remove the one we have, we get somebody that will be serious. If that person is not serious, I think they should put a punishment and bring people that will be going around inspecting the police on the road. A special force that will be going around inspecting them. Once they see them doing something wrong, they get them arrested.
But they have that. They have that. There's something like that that's supposed to be under the IG of police.
It's not working.
They have to put a mandate and punishment and give them a target. You have to make sure you get a corrupt one of so number every month. If you don't, and I think they have to open a social media, maybe a Facebook, that they would point out a particular person that will be in charge of those things, leading out people and taking actions against people's complaining.
Okay.
Before these things can work.
All right.
I don't know.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry I had to cut you off, but there is the police complaints response unit, and they have been dealing with complaints, and people have said that they seem to be responding well as well. And then there is a special squad that's meant to be under the office of the IG of police that is actually meant to, go around and be checking the activities of the police. It was during the whole NSARS thing that a lot of people got to find out. I think they're called the X Squad. I can't remember the particular name, but here are a few comments from WhatsApp, and this one says that the fundamental problem with Nigeria police terrain is that the masses cannot compel her leaders to give account of their stewardship. And that is Chedu from Ali Mosho. Someone else here, okay, giving you the same statistics and figures we gave out. Benga from BRT says, I think it's about time the police get the deserving reform and reorientate them properly and set up a unit that checkmates their activities. However, the police barracks need to be attended to. They are so in a bad shape. I think where you lay your head at night to rest after a long day's work is also a factor to determine how sane you will be the next day. Yeah, I've heard that as well. People are also saying we're in big trouble with this. Now, last question to you very quickly and very succinctly. I finally pronounced it right today. Very succinctly. Political will. Is that all that's needed to get this done?
It's more than that.
Okay,
we need that. We need that, certainly. But we need to also remember, without making excuses for them, we're all victims of this nation, and those in the police force are equally victims of the bad issues in the country. We need to remember that. And so everybody has a coping mechanism. Unfortunately, the police coping mechanism oppresses other people.
Because they are harmed. It's just because
that
they are
goes back to this ours thing. All right, it's 9 o'clock. It's time now for headline news, and right after that, Tunji Andrews has the Money, Business, and Economy show. Do stick around. There's much more coming your way on the nation's #1 talk news and sports station. This is 99.3 Nigeria Info Breakfast News Digest. Signing out.